Good morning, my dear colleagues. I apologize for not being able to be physically with you at the conference. I would have loved very much to come to your wonderful country, Australia, and to meet wonderful colleagues at the conference. But you know, there was a coincidence of dates. On these days, we have in Italy the conference of the AAATE, which is the Association for the Advancement of Assistive Technology in Europe. And you can imagine that I am quite a lot involved. So I hope this conversation over the screen will be not too boring with you, and you can stand to hear my strange English spoken by a northeastern Italian. Well, the title of my keynote is Towards a Global Information Network on Assistive Technology. Well, first let me introduce myself. Who am I? Well, as a background, I am electrical engineer. I graduated at Padua University almost in the Jurassic age 40 years ago in 1979. Then I've been working for many years, for over 37 years, at Fondazione Dognocchi in Milano as head of assistive technology research, a department that is quite known in Europe with the name of SIVA. Fondazione Dognocchi is a quite large organization with over 5,000 employees, and it's running a network of rehabilitation centers across all Italy with almost 10,000 people receiving care or rehabilitation service every day. So it was quite an interesting place to work with people with clinical background, with users, with people with social background, educational background, and working together in the search of assistive technology solution for each client. Well, one of my tasks during these years was also to direct a postgraduate course on assistive technology. We have been running for almost 20 years at Fondazione Dognocchi until 2018. But after I left the Fondazione Dognocchi, I will be running again this course with another organization, which is a little bit smaller. It's called the Associazione Nostra Famiglia. It's also a network of rehabilitation centers, very similar in scope to Fondazione Dognocchi. One of my tasks is also to chair the ISTIN association, which is the Global Assistive Technology Information Network, and this is the reason for the invitation to hold this keynote at this conference. And I like also to remind that I had the opportunity and the honor to be president of the AAATE, which is the European Association of Assistive Technology and is a historical sister organization of the Australian Assistive and Rehabilitation Technology Association, ARATA. We have had a lot of collaboration in the past years. Just to complete my presentation, I have to tell you that I'm married, I have 4 children, and honestly, my family was quite happy that I had not to go to Australia and I can stay in Italy with them. Well, now I'm working as independent consultant on assistive technology. I am based in my hometown, which is Belluno, in a beautiful mountain area of the Dolomites in Italy. Here in the map, see where Belluno is, northeast of Italy. You see in the picture that is exactly in the center of the mountain area, and some of you who have been to Italy may have enjoyed the beauty of Dolomites, which I'm very proud of. Well, let's come back to my main work experience in my years working at Fondazione Dognocchi. I've always been working along 4 lines. One is about information, assistive technology information. We established a national database of assistive technology and a number of side initiatives that to promote knowledge about assistive technology among end users and their families and caregivers, for professionals in healthcare, in social work, in education, for also information for manufacturers or suppliers, for scientists, for policymakers, and so on. But this work on information was part of a bigger project that have also activities in education. We have been quite active in courses, not only the postgraduate course on assistive technology, but also topical courses, thematic courses. Then another very important line of work was work with therapists, medical doctors, social workers, teachers, and so on, in orthopedic technicians and so on individual assessment of assistive technology for our client. And besides providing the service, we have also tried to develop methodologies to improve the quality of the service, to track the intervention, and to measure the effectiveness and the outcomes. And finally, we have been carrying out research and developments in many areas, from product development to methodological development. So this is basically my background. Now let's come to the exact topic of my keynote. I will be speaking about the ISTIN, which is the Global Assistive Technology Information Network. So maybe many of you know already about the ISTIN. For those who don't know it, basically it appears as a website, an information system, which works in many languages. These languages are not achieved through machine translation, as many web services have today. So machine translation is a beautiful thing. However, when you come to very specific terminology, you need is not enough. So the system works in such a way that there are translation tables controlled by professionals in such a way that when you navigate, when you browse the ISTIN information system, you always go through good commonly understood professional language in the field. So you can search in Italian, in German, in Greek, in Lithuanian, in Chinese, and other 25 languages. But the system is organized in such a way that an unlimited number of language layers can be added. So in this website, you can make searches. This is an information system, so you can do searches of what? Search of assistive products, of companies, of documents related to assistive technology. The search can be done by means of various methods. The main method is to search by the ISO classification of assistive products, which is an international standard, or by brand, by model, by keyword, by date, and many other search methods. Well, but what happens when you perform a search? ISTIN is not a database. The ISTIN architecture can be described as composed of 3 tiers. One is the presentation tier, the other is the application tier, and the third is the data tier. The user interacts with the presentation tier with his or her personal computer or a smartphone or tablet or whatever else, and interacts through a web browser. It can be Explorer, can be Chrome, can be Safari, Opera, whatever else. So when the user inputs his or her search parameters through the web browser, the request is sent to the application tier, which is somewhere in the cloud. It's a piece of software somewhere in the cloud, and it gets interprets the request of the user, and then give instruction to the fisherman, let's call it the fisherman, the web service proxy, that will go to search for data, collect the data, and send back them to the presentation tier for being presented to the user. But where do the data come from? The data come from not an ISTIN database, but from the partners' databases, the national database of the ISTIN partners. So the information is fished through the web service developed by the partners and sent back to the ISTIN engine that sorts, organizes it, and shows back to the user. So the result of the search that is quite efficient, it takes a few seconds, will be a list of results. In this case, if you search for products, you have a list of assistive products. In this case, you see that the user was searching for special assistive keyboards through the ISO search. He found 343 products, and these are displayed in the default sorting order, starting from the product that was most recently updated. And then you see the source database where it comes from. If you want information on each product, you just click on the selected product and you get a full record that is again fished in the source database and translated through translated table to the user. So to the user it seems quite straightforward. The real big work has been the agreement between partners to find a way to standardize the information of international interest that should flow through the ISTIN system. So, and what is the contents now? If we make a search today, we find over 60,000 products. If you look at this, at the distribution across the various ISO main classes, you see that the most numerous class is mobility, assistive products for mobility and transportation, then assistive products for self-care, then assistive products for furnishing, for fixtures, for adaptation of the home, and then communication and information management. Then the other classes follow. And you see again, those of you who are familiar with the ISO standard, you can see how large, how big is the light blue class, which is mobility and transportation, followed by the green, the yellow one, which is personal care, and then adaptation of the home in blue, and communication and information in the dark orange, let's call it like that. Well, but who is behind the ISTIN system? Behind there is the ISTIN association. The ISTIN network, as a matter of fact, is an association created in 2005 by 6 organizations based in the European Union. It was the result of a collaborative project initially funded by the European Commission. So you see from the name ISTIN and from the history that it was a European-rooted project, but recently it evolved from a European to a global perspective with the goal of gradually becoming the worldwide assistive technology information hub. Actually, we should have changed the name because ISTI means European Assistive Technology Information Network. However, you know, the brand is so well known that we decided to keep the brand, and now the network is called the ISTIN, the Global Assistive Technology Information Network. Who are the members of the ISTIN associations? We have 7 partners. Who is the partner? A partner is an organization that operates a national database and has connected this database to the ISTIN through a piece of software, through the technical system that has been established by the ISTIN network. So are organizations that allow the ISTIN engine to fish into their database. Each partner is a national contact for their country, so it will be the organization who answer to any mail posted by the users through the website. They maintain the language layer, the linguistic table for translations, and the partners are those who economically support the association by paying a full annual membership fee, and for this reason they hold decision power. Then we have affiliates. Currently we have 16 affiliates. Affiliate is an organization that have no database, but they can make one by using some ISTIN internal tools that have been purposely developed for that. For example, we have a small country who has no resources for having a national database and maybe very small production of assistive products, so they may will import products from outside, and these products will be in the other partners database. But maybe they have some local manufacturer that are not exporting, and so these members can build their own database, and this information goes to the ISTIN search engine. Affiliate is a national contact in their country, and affiliate will pay a small membership fee. Then we have also others, organizations that formally are not members of the ISTIN network, but they just volunteer to serve as ISTIN national contacts in other countries without requiring technical service from the ISTIN network, such as the language layer or the use of the tools for building their own small database. The principle is that the participation in the network activities is based on the member resources. So, let's have now a very quick look at the databases of the partners of the ISTIN Association. Here we have the homepage of the UK database called DLF Data and operated by the Disabled Living Foundation. Here we have the homepage of the READAT, the German national database operated by the Institut der Deutschen Wirtschaft Köln. Here we have the homepage of the Danish database, which is operated by the State Agency for Social Services, so a public body. Here we have the Belgian database operated by the Flemish Agency for Social Services. You may know that Belgium is a kind of two countries in one. One is the Flemish speaking and the other is the French speaking. Our partner is the Flemish speaking. Here we have the Assistive Technology Australia that I think you know very well, and is our partner from Australia. And here is the Italian database of assistive technology, the SIVA portal. And if you look in depth to each of these systems, you realize how rich they are and how well are they tailored to the need of the citizen of that country, whether end users or professionals or manufacturers or public or policymakers or scientists or whatever else. And being able to put together all the information and agree on some standards to communicate this information has been a really great job. Just to give an idea of what other kind of services are included in each of the partner database, I just mentioned the Italian portal, which of course I know very well. But for example, it includes also a kit of tools that are useful to assist the people carrying out the assistive technology assessment and making the inspection of the the assistive solution and track the effectiveness and the outcome in the long term. Then you find fact sheets or guidance tools and so on. And each of these databases has plenty of information like that. So what next? So ISTIN, as I told you, is moving from European dimension to the global. As you see in this globe, you see that there is still a crowd in Europe, while most other parts of the world there are still not so many partners. But you see that we have some yellow arrows. That means members that are currently taking part in the ISTIN network. You see some white arrow that are organizations which we are in contact with to explore the possibility in the future to become partners. Well, the main conclusion of my conversation are the following. The first is that the ISTIN is an very interesting story. The ISTIN system has proven a feasible approach. It was able to actually aggregate assistive technology information resources from all over the world. Now, the information resources are basically 7 plus some other minor one, but the system is equipped to take on board an unlimited number of other national databases. Well, the other important thing that the ISTIN system is not competing with national databases. Why? Because it only aggregates information of international interest, while the national databases are much more richer. They provide comprehensive and detailed information for citizens of their country. Every country is so different. Every country has a different culture or also legislation policy. So it was impossible to put together all the information. So ISTIN is just aggregating basic information, and it's useful especially in 2 situations. The first situation is when you have a database, but you don't find the assistive solution in your database. So you go and through the ISTIN you see if solutions are in other databases in the world. The second is for countries who have no national database, and so ISTIN help fulfill their right to access assistive technology information. That is a key principle established also by the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Why partners all the partners are non-for-profit organizations and put resources in taking part in another international non-for-profit organization like the ISTIN? Well, not only because this helps to provide information to any person everywhere, this is to fulfill a right, that is very important, but also because participating in the ISTIN gives the partners added value. Because we have the experience working together for many years, every partner was able to improve the national system thanks to expertise exchange among all people involved in this endeavor. But now I want to conclude by saying that the ISTIN network is open. Any partner who shares the ISTIN mission can consider joining the network and apply, and we can discuss if they want to take part. Because the ambition is to become truly global, in the ideal future, we would like to have all major national databases connected and to have national contacts in most countries worldwide, because this will be reinforcing our capacity to serve the information need of people. This will provide a contribution also to the very important action that the WHO is carrying out through the GATE project, that is the global action aimed at improving access to assistive technology. So I hope to have been not so boring, and you could understand my imperfect English, and I thank you very much for your attention. And may I say it also in Italian, grazie per la vostra attenzione.